J.J. Watt, how did you go about finding out the connection you two shared?
Well, I actually knew him a little bit in high school. He grew up, I don't know, 5 or 10 miles from my hometown, from my house. You know, he grew up in Pewaukee and I grew up in Brookfield, and if you look on a map, they touch. And I grew up where I could have thrown a stone across the road into Pewaukee, so we grew up pretty close together. And then when I was in the NFL, maybe my first year or two, he was in high school, and I remember working out at the same facility that he worked out at. And then I remember when he was in college, seeing him work out there. And even at that time, he had not really made a huge name for himself yet, because he was kind of a late bloomer, really. I mean, he started as a walk-on and then transferred into Wisconsin, only played 1 year there. And then even I remember going into the draft, they thought, you know, he'd be maybe a second round, maybe a end of the first round pick. And then he went to the combine and his numbers were off the chart, and he shot way up the draft and became one of the higher picks.
How crazy was it, though, to see this guy who's one town over also become one of the top players in the NFL?
Well, it is crazy to me because Wisconsin is not exactly a huge state. We don't even have one city that's huge. Like, Milwaukee's our biggest city, which is the suburbs that we grew up in, and it's not exactly a football powerhouse. I mean, we're now kind of known for our linemen because in the last 20 years or so, Wisconsin has produced a lot of really good offense and defensive linemen, but it's kind of the chances of having the defensive player of the year 3 times and a lineman, offensive lineman that's made 10 Pro Bowls growing up within 5 or 10 miles of each other in very small towns is probably pretty slim.
What do you think of the success he's had?
I'm so proud of him. I mean, he's the best defensive player in the NFL. And for me, I've got a lot of pride in my home state, especially in light of the fact that we don't produce a lot of football players. I'm very proud of my college at Wisconsin because we have a great tradition, but we're not spoken about at the upper echelon of college football a lot like in Alabama, but we produce a heck of a lot of really, really good offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and football players. And I think it's great to get some respect for our state and our college based on the things that, you know, a guy like JJ does.